Welcome and thanks for tuning in again. I'm Hannah and this time I show you the second part of my Australian Shepherd portrait. The supplies I use are listed in the description below. With the background partially done, I start to overlap the fine hair that are on top of the background. This will unite the subject with the rest of the drawing. Now I go more and more for the details. To me, that's where the real fun begins. On top of the mid-tone base, I start to play more with lighter and darker tones to build up texture on the fur. And between these layers, I smooth the strokes out slightly and put then another thin layer on top. All of this has to happen in the direction the hair grows. Keep in mind that you only need to achieve the illusion of details. I wanted my drawings to appear realistic. I'm not going for hyperrealism. That's a whole different ballgame. A secret to draw longer fur is to try to see the shapes, not single hairs. Squint your eyes or blur out the reference photo to lose the majority of the details, and then start putting in just the bigger shapes. On the ear you can see that I go for the biggest shapes of the fur first. I put them roughly in and then build the details on top. Do everything with a light touch, otherwise you will fill the tooth of the paper too fast and you won't be able to get the depth of the fur far enough to reach a realistic look. The moment I start putting in the lighter strands of hair, it becomes more 3D, and I haven't even started to go for the details itself. When it comes to details, think about where you want the focus of your drawing to be, because that's the only area with a ton of details and sharp lines. Not everything should be in focus. Like in real life, you only can see details where your focus go. Everything else is slightly blurry. My focal point here is his face, so his eyes and nose get the most attention. Also, when you put in too many harsh lines or well-meant details in the fur, it stops looking smooth and healthy. At best it will look wet, but usually it would look rough and really ragged. To draw in thicker strands of hair, I hold my pencil on the side to create broader strokes. That will automatically look more like smooth fur. And the paper also will work for you by giving the strokes the texture. Now it's time to work on the background again. And I also use my sheet of paper for my mixing palette. The reason why I finished the background this late in the drawing is simple. What's not on the paper can't smudge. So I only put in at first what I need for the subject and then put in the rest later. For the snowflakes, I mostly use the light grey and tint some of them then with a light aqua color. Only on some spots I use pure white, because it would be too harsh to make them all as bright. When you have a variety of colors in these snowflakes, you create depth, because not every flake falls at the same angle and distance to the viewer and therefore catches the light different. And when dabbing them in, keep in mind that they are in different positions of the picture. The ones in the fore and the ones in the background are blurred out, soft circles, and the ones on the same level as the head are more in focus. In the last steps, you start adjusting your values in color and contrast, as well as putting in the final details. If you're not sure you've got it right, then take a picture and start playing around. If you find that your picture looks better with more contrast or a higher saturation, then add the changes to your work. The biggest mistakes I see in artwork is the lack of contrast. Also switch your drawing into black and white. If your contrast then looks good, you've got it. And that's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. For prints and other merch, check out the link for my Redbubble shop. You will find it in the description below. And don't forget to do all the YouTubey things and help me grow. Thanks a lot. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.